All right, so today we're going to deep dive into something that's been making a lot of noise lately. It's called synthetic media.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And to put it simply, it's where AI algorithms are being used to either create or modify various forms of media. So think text, images, videos, and even voices.
Yeah, basically like AI stepping into the role of a creator.
Exactly. And I think most people are familiar with at least a couple examples of this, like those deep fakes you see online where someone's face is superimposed onto another person's body,
Hmm.
or those really natural sounding text-to-speech tools we're hearing more and more of.
Right, and what's interesting is how this technology is becoming so accessible. You've got platforms like DLE for creating images and ChatGPT for text, which are putting these powerful capabilities within reach of, well, pretty much anyone.
Exactly. So it's not just something happening in research labs anymore. It's something that's really impacting the world around us right now, and we're seeing the effects of that every day.
For sure. And based on the materials you shared with me, there's a lot to unpack here. It seems like a real balancing act between this huge creative potential and some really crucial challenges that come along with it.
Absolutely. So why don't we start with that creative potential? What stood out to you in the research about how synthetic media is opening up new possibilities for artistic expression?
Well, one thing that really struck me was how it could change storytelling. Like imagine viewers actually getting to choose different endings for a movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? And AI could generate those alternate endings on the fly, like personalized entertainment taken to a whole new level.
That would be amazing. And it's not just limited to movies, right? Businesses are already using this technology to create personalized marketing campaigns that tailor content to specific individuals.
Oh, absolutely. And the music industry is getting in on it too.
Mhm.
One of the articles you sent mentioned a completely AI-generated virtual singer in Japan that topped the charts, which I thought was pretty wild.
Yeah, it really highlights how this technology is blurring the lines between what's real and what's created. But as we've touched on, this power also comes with a lot of responsibility and challenges.
For sure. One of the biggest ones, and something that came up a lot in your research, is the potential for misinformation.
Oh, absolutely. Those deepfakes, for example, can be incredibly convincing, and it's easy to imagine how they could be used to spread false information or manipulate people.
Right. And as the technology gets even more sophisticated, it's going to become increasingly difficult to distinguish between what's real and what's not.
That's scary to think about. And on top of that, there are all these legal and ethical questions around synthetic media that are still being worked out. Like who owns the intellectual property rights when an AI creates something? Is it the developer of the AI, the person who provides the input, or someone else entirely?
It's a real gray area right now. And some of the sources you shared even argued that we need some kind of global agreements in place to manage the development and use of synthetic media.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are struggling to keep up with the pace of this technology. But it's not just about creating content, right? It's also changing how we communicate.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing AI avatars being used for customer service and AI-generated voices, making information more accessible to people with disabilities.
Which on the surface sounds great, but I think it also raises some interesting questions about the human element in communication.
For sure. Like, are we losing something important when we interact with AI instead of real people?
Yeah,
Does it change the nature of those interactions?
definitely food for thought.
Mm.
So to kind of sum up, it seems like synthetic media has the potential to both democratize creativity and present some real ethical challenges.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. On the one hand, it could give more people access to tools for creating and sharing their ideas. But on the other hand, we need to be very mindful of the potential negative consequences.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, based on all the information you've shared, here's a question for you to ponder. How do we strike that balance? How do we embrace the incredible creative potential of synthetic media while also addressing the ethical considerations and ensuring it's used responsibly?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's one that we're all going to have to grapple with as this technology continues to evolve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So much to think about.
A lot to think about.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
Yeah, no problem. This was great.
Definitely a fascinating topic, and we'll be sure to revisit it as things develop.
I'm sure we will.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
And be sure to join us next time for another deep dive.
Bye.